Depth mapping is the essential foundation of cinematic photo animation. It allows the AI to transform a flat 2D photograph into a structured 3D environment. The AI segments the image into distinct depth layers: the background, the midground, and the primary subject. By calculating the distance of each pixel, it generates a 3D point cloud. This layering enables parallax, a natural motion effect where objects closer to the camera appear to move faster than the background. This is what creates the sense of cinematic depth. In 2026, cinematic photo animation has entered the era of physics-aware models. Unlike earlier tools that simply warped pixels, modern models incorporate a dedicated physics layer. If an image contains water, the AI now simulates fluid dynamics. It understands how waves propagate and interact with the environment, moving beyond static distortions. Similarly, for fabric, these models calculate tension and gravity. This allows for realistic movement that follows natural physical laws, preventing the morphing artifacts of the past. By integrating these laws, animations appear consistent, stable, and indistinguishable from professional cinematography. By tracking these latent points frame by frame, the AI prevents facial features from shifting unnaturally. When a virtual camera pans across a static photo, it inevitably reveals areas that weren't captured in the original shot. These empty spaces are known as missing information. This is where outpainting comes in. The AI analyzes the scene's context, hallucinating consistent textures like walls, furniture, or landscapes to fill these gaps seamlessly. Inpainting, conversely, addresses occluded areas, parts of the scene previously blocked by foreground objects that now need to be reconstructed as the camera moves. By blending these generated edges with existing data, the AI ensures the final cinematic output feels like a continuous, coherent world. Early AI tools relied on auto-animation, where the model essentially guessed the camera movement. The results were often unpredictable and lacked clear artistic intent. Today, we have moved toward motion prompting. Creators now use text-based inputs like dolly left or bokeh shift to define specific camera vectors. This grants the creator total agency over the final movement. By shifting from guesswork to directed prompting, photographers and editors gain true cinematic control over their living assets. Cinematic photo animation is exploding in 2026 because of the sheer volume of existing digital content. Every phone, cloud, and business archive is now a treasure trove of potential cinematic assets. We are shifting from a culture of creating new, expensive footage to a culture of animating what we already own. This process bypasses the need for new camera crews or complex location shoots. By motionizing existing static libraries, businesses can now access high-end, cinematic-style content at a fraction of the cost, making it the most efficient way to scale visual marketing. Traditionally, achieving cinematic production value required a massive investment. You needed professional camera rigs, elaborate lighting setups, and an entire film crew to capture motion. Cinematic photo animation changes this dynamic entirely. By leveraging AI, a single high-quality photo becomes a lifestyle loop, reducing production costs for small brands by approximately 85%. This democratization allows smaller businesses to achieve broadcast-quality content. You get the cinematic look, the fluidity, and the engagement, all without the logistical burden of a full-scale shoot. One of the biggest advantages of AI-generated cinematic animation is cross-platform reusability. By creating a single high-quality master asset, you can maximize your return on investment. This master clip acts as the foundation for multiple formats, whether it is vertical content like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, or horizontal layouts for website hero backgrounds. The same asset can be repurposed. This approach slashes production time and ensures visual consistency across your entire digital presence. You spend the effort once and capture your audience everywhere. The success of any cinematic animation starts with your source image. If the input is poor, the AI's output will struggle. We call this the rule of garbage in, garbage out. To get professional results, prioritize high resolution, minimal compression artifacts, and most importantly, clear depth layering in your images. Look for images with distinct foreground interest and a blurred background. This separation allows the AI to map the scene into a 3D point cloud, creating a convincing parallax effect rather than a flat, distorted warp. To direct cinematic motion, we use specific language. A slow push-in simulates a camera moving toward the subject, gradually intensifying focus. For environmental mood, we add descriptors like subtle light flicker. This instructs the AI to modulate brightness dynamically within the scene. Finally, shallow depth of field helps isolate your subject by artificially blurring the background, mimicking professional lens optics. In cinematic photo animation, temporal length is a crucial constraint. Understanding how long to animate is key to quality. 3 to 6 seconds is the ideal sweet spot for most AI-generated animations. Clips shorter than 3 seconds often feel abrupt and fail to convey a cinematic sense of depth. However, extending beyond 6 seconds significantly increases the likelihood of AI artifacts, as the model loses track of consistent geometry. By staying within this duration, you ensure your work loops seamlessly while maintaining high visual fidelity. Visual motion in cinematic photo animation is only half the story. To create truly immersive scenes, we rely on AI soundscape generators. By analyzing visual cues, AI identifies elements like wind, ambient room tone, or footsteps, and generates audio that is frequency matched to the movement. This synchronization transforms a static photo into an immersive world where every frame of motion feels anchored by a realistic soundscape. In real estate, property agents are replacing flat, static interior photos with cinematic staging. This transforms a single image into a sweeping, immersive walkthrough. By using cinematic photo animation, agents create a smooth, cinematic hover effect that mimics a high-end camera lens moving through a room. Market data shows this technique yields a 3 times increase in audience engagement compared to standard static image sliders. Companies hold vast archives of static marketing photos that often gather digital dust. In a fast-paced social media landscape, these static assets can feel dated and lack engagement. The modern trend is to motionize these archives. AI-powered cinematic animation can breathe new life into legacy campaigns by creating subtle, looping environmental motion. This process transforms static brand kits into living, digital assets. It allows brands to repurpose their heritage content into high-performance, cinematic clips for modern advertising without expensive reshoots. By turning your library of static stills into dynamic content, you extend the reach and relevance of your brand, ensuring your assets are ready for today's video-first digital environment. Nostalgia tech is transforming how we connect with our past. By applying cinematic photo animation to historical images, we are creating what we call living portraits. In genealogy and family heritage platforms, these animations take a static, often faded ancestor photograph and introduce subtle, lifelike motion. This process moves beyond simple editing. The AI builds a depth map, allowing the background and subject to move independently. It transforms a flat record into an emotional, living experience. The result is a powerful emotional hook. Instead of just looking at history, families can now witness a version of their ancestors that feels present, fostering a deeper sense of connection. In modern e-commerce, the era of the static product photo is fading. Retailers are adopting micro-cinematics, which transform flat images into engaging lifestyle loops. By integrating CPA technology, platforms like Shopify and Amazon automatically generate motion that gives the product a sense of life, capturing consumer attention far more effectively than still images. These lifestyle loops demonstrate features, texture, and scale, which research shows significantly boosts conversion rates by reducing the psychological distance between the buyer and the product. By the second quarter of 2026, data revealed that cinematic photo animation significantly transformed ad performance. Ads featuring these animated photos achieved a 42% higher click-through rate compared to their static counterparts. This performance boost is driven by pattern interruption, deeper user engagement, and a more modern, premium brand perception. The biggest mistake in cinematic photo animation is using low-resolution, heavily compressed JPEG sources. Remember the golden rule: garbage in, garbage out. When you apply motion to a low-quality image, the AI doesn't just animate the subject. It aggressively magnifies every compression block and pixel artifact present in the source. Always prioritize high-resolution source files. The cleaner your input, the more cinematic and stable your final output will be. Quality is the foundation of successful photo animation. One of the biggest mistakes in cinematic photo animation is over-animating human subjects. Moving faces and eyes too aggressively often triggers the uncanny valley. When you attempt to make a person smile or blink via AI, the results often look distorted and unnatural. Instead, keep your human subject still. Use subtle camera pans or background motion to create the cinematic feel without breaking the illusion of a photograph. By focusing on environmental motion, you maintain the photographic integrity while gaining the cinematic life that defines professional generative media. The next frontier for cinematic photo animation is shifting from passive observation to active, spatial interaction. Within the next 18 months, we expect CPA to move into VR and AR spaces. Your mobile device sensors will allow you to tilt your phone, changing the perspective of the animated image in real time. This creates a truly immersive experience where you are no longer just looking at a photo, you are looking into a captured moment that responds to your presence. We have covered the essentials of cinematic photo animation. Here is your final checklist for success. First, remember that depth mapping is the foundation of every movement. Second, ensure your motion prompts are specific and descriptive. Third, keep your animations short to avoid artifacts. And finally, always prioritize high-resolution source files because quality is non-negotiable. You now have the tools to transform static photos into living cinema. Go ahead and start your first project today.